Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today, if you've ever wondered how do you get publicity as an entrepreneur, A, is it even possible? B, how do you get the right one? And C, can you actually do it? Well, then you are at the right place. I want to welcome Jill Lublin to the show. She is a 25 plus year media magnate. She's a world-renowned publicity expert, international speaker, and 4 times best-selling author. Jill has made thousands of stage appearances alongside celebrities such as Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield. She has worked with over 100,000 clients, implementing her signature formula for getting media attention, creating next level visibility in the marketplace that results in boosted sales. Welcome to the show, Jill.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
So I'm just going to ask you like the really obvious question just to get started. Let's just dive into it. Can you get publicity as an entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh. Let me just say, you are wanted in the news, my friends, because the reality is you have something to talk about. You are experts, and guess what the media needs? Experts, just like you, to quote, to feature, to write about, to put in the news, whether it be radio, TV, blogs, and podcasts. All the world is your oyster. And in fact, it's easier than it's ever been before.
Wow. Well, that is very good news because I've always heard that it's very hard to actually get into it in the first place.
No, it's different now because you can control it. And the truth is there's even more media like podcasts that actually make getting in media much simpler than it's been before.
I love it. Love it. Jill, take a couple of minutes, just introduce yourself, share a little bit of your story with us. Like, how did you get into media in the first place?
Oh, well, like many of us, I came to my entrepreneurship a little bit by, shall I say, accident, meaning I started in the music business as director of promotion and publicity, and discovered in the music business, frankly, the importance of perception. And I then went on to open up my own PR agency. And then, frankly, closed it because I wanted to offer entrepreneurs, that's where my heart is, offer entrepreneurs ways to get publicity, well, easier, more effectively, and frankly, less expensively. And after I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I created a media mastery intensive, which has been an opportunity for people to actually get publicity done. I have the media there. It's really... I like get it done style and really making sure that people have systems in place. Because listen, like everything in entrepreneurship and in business, systems make things a lot easier. So I have a 30, 60, and 90-day system, and we just get it done. And that makes things a lot simpler.
I think that's amazing. One thing I was wondering about, what's been the hardest part of all of this for you?
Well, like every entrepreneur, I have my ups and downs too. And a few things that might have been easier if I had better financial literacy, meaning I understood how to read a P&L sheet. I really didn't. And like many of you, wasn't really operating my business from that perspective. So that, as I've, focused on that and gotten the help I need, because listen, entrepreneurs, you are not experts at everything. You be experts at you, and then let experts like me handle the public relations and other, support for you. And I think that's a really important lesson for entrepreneurs too, is divide and conquer. Like, you stay in your lane, do the things you're best at, and let others handle the rest.
Yeah. And it's hard as entrepreneurs because you're thinking, I don't have the money to pay myself, let alone pay for these other things. But what I've learned over the years is that as, I've made those investments and I don't go into debt. So I work hard, I save up, I do the next thing, I work with the next specialist. It's become a real blessing in my life. And it has allowed me to fast track because I now don't have to learn it all. I just have to save up enough money to work with the person who does.
Right. And to be, shall we say, guided and instructed. And I think this is an entrepreneur trap that you feel like you need or must do it all. And absolutely, I'm going to say, don't. Work with experts who know what they're doing. And, I've purposely, because I have the heart of an entrepreneur, because I am an entrepreneur, I understand the issues particularly. And so one thing I did was I made all my programs very affordable, especially honestly, once COVID hit. As an entrepreneur, I had to look and go, okay, now what do I do? And actually, the good news is, everything got even more affordable, more accessible, all on Zoom, so it's just really easy to serve people now in a really, powerful and productive way. So I think that as entrepreneurs, you do have to shift and sway and not get too stuck in this is the way I'm going to do it. Listen, I spoke all over the world. I used to deliver these media mastery intensives in person, and actually doing it now on Zoom has automatically enabled me to reach more people and lower my costs, which is a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, COVID was so horrible, and yet there's been some good things that came out of it, some shifts that needed to take place.
Yes,
before COVID, there was some online resistance. Like it was like, oh, online's the second class way to do things, and now it is the accepted norm.
Yes, exactly. Not only the accepted norm, but frankly, a much better way that many of you can get out there quickly and, simply reach a lot of people. And, in fact, what's wonderful is you get to control your media much more now, with all the podcasts, like your wonderful podcast, with all the opportunities that exist. I just am excited about how much more we can really have impact with publicity, and it's free. So I'm really going to encourage all of you. This is a marketing strategy that's at your fingertips and is completely free.
Wonderful. Jill, let's get into it. So, how do people get publicity as entrepreneurs? Like, what is the process? What things do they have to have in place? Obviously, you have to have some things to make yourself attractive to the media.
Yeah, well, you have to have a few things in place. One is a great message. And listen, I don't want any of you to have an excuse not to start. So I'm going to give you a great formula for a message that's just really simple. It is, the problem today is, and then just state it. Like, what's going on out in the world that is a problem? I would say something like, the problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. Okay, so you want to name a problem that's out there. You don't want to say what you do. That's an entrepreneur common default. Mm-hmm. So you talk about the problem out there and then give 3 wonderful solutions. Keep them simple, keep them in 5-year-old language. Do not say hire you, but give people, I like to call it, golden nuggets. Like, if they hired you, what would you tell a client if they were paying you, your consulting fees, your fees, right? What would you tell them? And then give them appetizers, not full meals, right? Like, this is about being in media. This is short, focused, simple. Most media interviews, check it out, are like 5 minutes long. When you're on, your mainstream media in your, let's say, local market, which is another great tip, is I want you to start locally. And you may say, but Jill, I serve people all over the world or all over wherever you are. Great. Yes. And what I love about local media is the truth is local affiliates want you and need you. They are excited that you have expertise that they can feature. And of course, featuring local people is a great asset to them also, and to you. So I want you to focus in on your ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox News radio and TV outlets. And then your daily paper and your local business journal. And if you live in a smaller city, go to the next bigger city, right? And that is a delightful and actually simpler way to get media attention quickly. So those are some great tips. Have a message, and then frankly, go local. And then I also want you to have at least one article. This would be your third tip. One article, 500 words. And that way you always have it ready. It's simple, and you can post it on things like medium.com. And then guess what? You are published and quick, and you can always send people links to it. So I think that that's important, to have an article ready to go. Short one, my friends, not long. And that article can be the encapsulation of what we just spoke about, which is the message.
You know, when you were talking, first of all, for all of our Canadian listeners like myself, so think of CTV, Global
Yep.
City TV.
Yep.
Those tend to have across the country, different ones across the wonderful country of Canada. And, you know, the
Yes.
other thing I was thinking of was when you talk about local is if you do, for some reason, not do the greatest job at it the first time you're on media, it's not going to have as big an impact as if you're on mainstream media across at least your whole country.
Yeah, exactly. And let me just tell you, I have a lot of Canadian clients, right? And you have business journals in every city, same. You know, CBC, you also have the Breakfast Club. There's morning shows on all of your local cities. So, you know, I'm just going to encourage you that no matter where you live in the world, this applies.
Yeah, my client, Dave Sanderson, he was one of the people who was on the Miracle of the Hudson. This year was the 15th anniversary of the plane going down, and we launched his new book in January for the anniversary. And in March, they invited him up to Toronto, and he appeared on all the major Canadian ones to talk about, you know, what had happened and his newest book.
Oh, how exciting. And that is an example of using, you know, a media anniversary in this case to promote what he was part of. And I think that that's really important, that you want to always look at the opportunity of creating that visibility factor ongoingly and consistently.
Well, Jill, we're going to shift gears here because I know we're under some time constraints today. You are an author, so I want to make sure that I ask you the question I ask every author. But first, I would love for you to just take a minute or two and introduce us to your books.
Oh, thank you. Well, here are my lovely books. Notice, by the way, they are, yes, on a shelf right behind me, because when you're promoting something, whether you're an author or a product or a service or consulting, we want to know who you are. So make sure that your backgrounds actually show that, including, you know, you could create a Canva background, just whatever you can do to make sure that people know what you do is actually important. So my first book, really a flagship book, is Guerrilla Publicity. We're actually in our third edition, and we've sold over 85,000, doing exactly what I've been helping you to do today, which is publicity has been the way for publicity, to guerrilla publicity, to create its mark. Then I came out with Get Noticed, Get Referrals on McGraw-Hill, as well as Networking Magic. And my latest book, The Profit of Kindness, is really about creating kindness in the marketplace, what to do, how to do it appropriately. And remember that kind companies get great publicity. And to that end, I also run a kindness circle every single month, and we're happy to give the link away about that too. It's completely free.
It's funny you talk about kindness. I was just in the pharmacy before getting on the call here, and they had this poster that said human kind, not human mean.
Nice.
I loved it. I thought that is so cool. I love it. Well, Jill, I'm going to ask you the question that I ask every author who comes on the show. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What was the good, the bad, and the ugly about writing, editing, and publishing that first book?
With guerrilla publicity, well, first of all, I want to tell you, I walked my talk. I got help. I got writing help because here's the thing. I love serving people with finding message, and in my media mastery intensives and in my speaking, wonderful. Writing a book, honestly, it's a non-revenue generating activity. Now it generates revenue once you're done with it, but I really believe in getting help, getting it done, and frankly, doing it the simplest way possible. So I would tell you that I was so excited when the book arrived. And I remember feeling like a chick, when they break out of an eggshell, peck, 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 and then they fall on their face, by the way, and they're not actually that cute or that fuzzy. And here's the truth. You just keep going, right? I mean, listen, at my first book signing at Barnes and Noble, I remember going in and seeing my poster with my face really big in the front advertising the event. And I'm like, oh, that's me, and listen, I'm in publicity and I still feel those nerves occasionally, but I've just learned how to manage it. But that's exciting to be able to take your book out and not only do book signings, but have the book as a major offering to my clients. And what I noticed when my book came out is that my speaking fees went up, that I also, of course, had amazing PR opportunity because I have something to promote called guerrilla publicity, right? And that I was able to start really creating, it wasn't just about selling a book, and it never, honestly, should just be about the book. I say thank you for the lunch money, and
I bought myself a coffee off of that one.
Yes, and I appreciate it. And for me, the blessing of it is that it does leave a lasting legacy, and that it's a leave behind that people can take with them. But make no mistakes, it leads to consulting, and people really in my program, which is the Media Mastery Intensive. And I'm going to tell you one book, Get Noticed, Get Referrals. Somebody read it because one of my systems about sending out announcements to your university, for instance, he picked it up once he read about it in the university newsletter. He looked at my bio. He said, Jill, I see you're a consultant, and we, as a shoe company, we really need some help. And that was a $6,000 VIP day. Now, that's good business out of a $20 book, right? That's what I'm talking about. It must lead to something, unless you're a trust fund baby and you're good and you don't need anything else, in which case, go for it. Yeah, let's make our books work for us. And I think that that's really important. But I am so blessed to have books. It definitely, created my career and has been a wonderful way to serve people with a lasting legacy.
Love it, Jill. Well, we have time for one final thought from you, and then you said you had a freebie for us today.
Absolutely. Well, let me give the freebie first, which is the opportunity for a publicity action guide. So even more than what we've done here today is outlined in an action guide with simple publicity tips that you can implement immediately. So you're going to love it. And on top of that, in the free gift, there's a free publicity masterclass with me. So we are on Zoom live and interactive, and you get to ask me questions, and I'm going to pour some great publicity content into you. So to get that gift, go to publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And of course, it will be in the show notes too. publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. The message I want to leave you with is that your message matters. What you do in the world as an entrepreneur, as an authority, you, I'm sure, want to be a contributor and leave lasting effects. Publicity helps you do that because it monetizes you, it multiplies you, and it magnetizes you. And it magnetizes your clients and referrals and business to you. So that's exciting, my friends. And I just look forward to seeing all of you in the news, and let me know if I can help you in any way.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you on the show today. Audience, it's that time again. Where do you go to next? I'm going to direct you to episode 491, Elevate Your Brand with Video Podcasting. If you're on YouTube, you know the routine. My daughter has placed the thumbnail on the screen somewhere here for you to click on. If you're on your favorite podcast app, just scan, get that finger going and scan on back. I want to encourage you today to just take Jill's advice and get yourself out there. Take advantage of the media and let it help you instead of you always watching it. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.